want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Today we have Deborah Cameron from Ottawa, Canada, joining us. She's here visiting with us. And Deborah has a very unique talent. She works with your emotions. Now, all of us know we've had some experience in the past, whether it's been through childhood or early adulthood, where maybe we had trauma, maybe we had abuse, maybe we just have some bad memories, and we really don't want to keep talking about it. But at the same time, how do we really let go? And Deborah's here today to talk about how to go beyond our emotions that hold us as captive and how we can release and become the full potential of the human we are.
Wow, what a great intro, Lee. Thank you. Yes, I have been intrigued with emotions really all of my life. I had a very electrically, emotionally charged family growing up. Mm-hmm. And so the emotions were always present, but not always in the best way. Right. And I learned early on the impact it had on my body. I'm an empath. I'm very sensitive to energy. And I would have to go out to nature to find a way to bring peace back to myself again, because by nature, really, that's who we all are. Mm-hmm. But the trauma, as you speak about, is going to bring out aspects of the personality that we can call, as spiritual people, lessons of life.
Yes.
Right. But this began the study for me, certainly in my nursing career. I wanted to understand why people got sick.
Exactly.
I wanted to understand, why do babies have ear infections? Always asking why. So as I evolved with my age and my experience.
But we're now wise women.
Oh, we hope so. Anyway, it led me to really dive deep into the understanding of the impact emotions have on the physical body. I honestly have believed for a very long time that imbalanced emotions are the foundation of why we're sick.
I agree.
More and more is being proven about that right now. In fact, we have the wonderful field of epigenetics.
Yes.
Which is understanding that the genes of the body respond to our environment.
That was well demonstrated by Bruce Lipton when he was studying stem cell research, and he took the same cells, say like from maybe they were liver cells. Mm-hmm. He put them in different petri dishes, mm-hmm. put them in different environments, mm-hmm. and one grew into muscle, one grew into organ, and I forget what the third one grew mm-hmm. into, but he demonstrated, like what you just mm-hmm. said, mm-hmm. our cells react to the environment we are in.
Absolutely. And that's The Biology of Belief by Dr.
Yes.
Bruce Lipton. Excellent, excellent book. In fact, it was used, I taught a course called The Psychology of Disease with the Institute for Holistic Nutrition, and that was the foundational mm-hmm. book. Mm-hmm. So I've been working with this for years without being able to describe it scientifically.
Exactly.
So now epigenetics can describe it scientifically. Mm-hmm. So what I do is establish the person's emotional blueprint during my hour-long sessions. Now, what is the emotional blueprint? It is the description, the understanding of what love means to you. I mean, it's like, what is love? What does love mean to you? Now, let me give you an example. So if a child has experienced a lot of loss early on,
yeah,
they've lost a family member, a parent, or a
sibling,
or a very beloved pet even.
Yeah.
They might be very traumatized by that experience. They may not even have been able to talk about it. It might be locked away within their biology. And so then what happens is an energetic flow is set up around the auric field of that child, and they may very well attract more loss into their life.
Exactly.
And so it could appear later in life as, losing a best friend, or later on losing a relationship and that hollowed feeling of loss. So the definition of understanding emotional blueprint lies in that belief for that child that love is loss. So if I am to love and be loved, I risk losing it. So oftentimes what happens is a young person in a relationship will actually sabotage the relationship because they're so afraid of losing it, having that person leave them, that they're going to choose to leave.
What you bring to my mind are grown-ups who have been children of military families that had to move every so often from base to base because they had to leave their friends behind. Or someone who their parents worked in the government and they also had to move maybe from country to country.
That's so astute.
Yes, I just think that is, I can see that.
Right. And that's so true because I've had umpteen clients who report that.
Yes.
It's a feeling of loss, right? And so that's an idea. So there's so many different emotional blueprints, and a lot of it will be gleaned very early on in the session. I often can get to the blueprint with a person within the first 5 to 7 minutes. Just by intuitively connecting with them and getting a sense of their story, but very slightly. So then when they have an understanding, oh, gee, this is something I've been operating with. Another one example is love is performance. Yes. So if a child is brought up in a household where do this, we expect this of you. You've got to excel. You know, you've got to go on and achieve this, and this. Then that child or that young person is going to take on the genetics of their parents and their grandparents and find it spawning within themselves where they're saying, I expect this of myself. I am an overachiever. I am a performance ridden and this is who I am. And so I will stop and I'll say, so do you believe this is who you are?
Right.
And if they say, yes, I do, then I would say to them, well, this is the only point of reference you've ever had to it. But what I want you to know is that this is a point for you to start opening yourself up to the possibilities of being without it, right? And then I love to say to them, and who would you be without it?
Yes.
And that's where they'll stop and go, I'm not sure.
So with that statement, Deborah, is this when you would bring in the family genetics and how it impacts that individual?
Oh, 100%. Because what we realize with emotional blueprint and epigenetics is that it is brought down through the family lineage. So if you knew your grandparents and your grandparents might have spoke of, you know, your great-grandparents, and certainly within your mother and father, if they're both, you know, alive, that you would look at the similarities. So if we can establish love as performance, you can begin to trace it back and see it very clearly. But the thing that I find most exciting about my own research and working with, you know, so many clients over the last 25 years is that there's an energy frequency of the blueprint which attracts, law of attraction, if you will, the people in your life, the most significant people in your life, guaranteed will have the same emotional blueprint that you do. And this is what causes often conflict, because when like and like come together with the same story, maybe a different story, but the same theme, that what happens is a trigger effect happens.
Sometimes I hear clients come in and say, you know, I attracted my father. No, I attracted my mother. You know, even though he's my husband, he acts like my mother did. Or this one acts like my big sister or my big brother. They've actually attracted the behavior of a family member.
That is exactly right. And so the trigger effect is a biological reaction.
Yes.
And I believe, with having taught Qigong now for 24 years, that there's an energetic imprint that moves into the navel. All right, the navel is where you were cut from your mother's umbilical cord.
Yes.
And it's like a vortex of energy that's open. And so when a person triggers you, I believe there's actually an impact, call it a cord, that moves from your navel to that person's navel. And the second you are impacted by the trigger effect, it ricochets through every cell of your body and activates the emotional blueprint. And that's where the conflict can come into play.
So would you align where the belly button is, where the cord, would you associate that with the solar plexus chakra, that people who are studying chakras know that there's a lot that goes in, and that's how it's really disseminated through the body?
Oh, absolutely. And actually the solar plexus, and teaching the chakras for so many years, the solar plexus is the holder of the digestive system.
Yes.
And so that gut-wrenching feeling. So it can be the sacral and solar plex effect, but more importantly, it activates the kidneys, the stress effect. So the point from your navel right around, if you were to trace it around to your back, that point of your spine is the kidney point.
Yes.
And so the kidneys get very, very tight when you're in this kind of stress and you're reacting. All right. And so it just sets off so many signals in the body. So the thing is, who would I be without it? Well, I could be a person that stays calm through any situation whatsoever, right? So then the key point there that I get most excited about is that we actually have the opportunity to rewrite our genetics, and that's what my work is about.
Oh, how exciting. I mean, can you imagine people who are saying, I'm tired of living with this stress. I'm tired of having a high blood pressure. I'm tired of waiting for the shoe to drop. They actually have a way they can connect with you and release all that. What a gift.
Yeah.
What a gift.
And so much of it is their awareness, because I do not see myself, and I've even mentioned to you earlier today, I don't believe in the word healer.
No.
I believe that I'm a facilitator, and that the person is in charge of their own healing.
I agree.
It's giving them the power back to do it on their own.
Deborah, I want to thank you for joining me, and such an explanation and such hope you bring to so many. And in closing, is there anything you would like to offer to them to help people find out where you are, or how you and a person can decide if you want to work together?
Yes, certainly. So my website is www.beyondemotionalblueprint.com. And on my website, you can see where to contact me. And I offer a 20-minute free session to sort of get to the premise of the potentiality for the work that we can do together. I really, in the 20 minutes, can get to it very quickly of what your emotional blueprint is. And then I would suggest perhaps the number of sessions that you might need to move forward.
Yes.
So that would be my suggestion.
Well, that is wonderful. I want to thank you again for visiting with us. And we always look forward to your visit from Canada.
Oh, thank you. And I love being here.
Oh, great. It's been wonderful.
Thank you very much, everyone.